Up with Dr. Leyland. Step into the future, the world is waiting now. Dreams are in the making, we'll show you how. From the books to the screen, from the stage to the stars. Level up your game, let's raise the bar. Innovation, inspiration, it's in our DNA. Breaking through the limits, we're paving the way. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. Empowered in your passion, your voice will be heard. Building a legacy with every word. From podcasts to pages, from business to art. Level Up's the place where it all can start. With heart and with vision, we're chasing every goal. Together we'll ignite the fire in your soul. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. Oh, we're trailblazing, breaking through the mold. Dreams are alive, let your story unfold. With courage and pride, we'll take the fight. At Level Up, we own the night. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. So let's level up and never look back. On the road to greatness, we're on the right track. Together we'll soar, together we'll fly. At Level Up Academy, we're alive.
Whoa, can you hear me? I hope you can hear me. We're back, guys. Okay, so anyhow, I know we need a consistent time to show up. It's just been a lot reflecting, life, moving, kids, dogs, more dogs coming up. Um, my mom's dog is pregnant right now, so yeah, more dogs. Multiple it is. Anyhow, how are you guys doing? It's been a hot minute. I need to be consistent. I teach consistency, yet I don't show up consistently. So please pardon de moi. But today really is all about my experiences and my clients' experiences, and also really thinking about, okay, now that we've done the visibility as authority, we got all this backlinks, we get all of these visibility. What do we do? What do we do? Okay, so let me ask you something. If your story is so powerful, why isn't it attracting opportunities? Let me ask you that. If your story is so powerful, why isn't it attracting opportunities? Because most people don't have a story problem. They have a strategy problem. Okay. I've worked with authors, speakers, entrepreneurs who have incredible stories, but they're invisible. Not that they're not on Google, not because they're not good enough, but because they're not positioned. The story that was loud but invisible, right? Think about it. Mabuhay Jay, welcome brother. There was a let me tell you a story, okay? There was a woman who had lived through more than most people could handle. I don't even think I could handle her life, okay? She had survived loss, multiple losses in her family, reinvented herself more than once after two, well, actually three divorces, built things, lost things, rebuilt again. And like most people trying to be authentic, she did what everyone told her to do. You hear it, you see it, right? You witness it in on LinkedIn. Be authentic, share your story. This is why people are gravitating to you because you shared your story. So she shared her story. I mean, everywhere, social media, podcasts, conversations. She even had a couple speaking gig on stages. She opened up. She got vulnerable. She told her truth. And people responded. People are like, wow, you're so strong. That's so inspiring. Thank you for sharing. But here's what didn't happen. She had no clients, no partnerships, and no doors opening. Like most people, right? It's just applause with no action. People appreciated that she was vulnerable, she was consistent, she was everywhere. But one day, I asked her a question that changed everything. I said, hey, what is your story designed to do? She paused for a moment. What? What do you mean, what my story is designed to do? Not what happened, now, not how it felt, right? Because most people are like, oh, what happened? Or how did it feel? That's the two questions that we usually ask people. But I ask her, what is it for? This is when it hit her. She wasn't telling a story, she was releasing emotion without direction. So she went back, got a homework from me. So she rebuilt it. She stopped saying, I went through this, right? And she started saying, here's what this taught me, and here's how it helps you. What does that mean? Look at it's the same story, guys. It's just different positioning. And suddenly people didn't just listen to her. They leaned in. They asked how to work with her. They referred her. They paid her because now her story wasn't just heard. It was useful for somebody else. Most of the time, we need credibility first, right? So that people know who you are. Now that people know who you are, how are you using your story to position yourself? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Dr. Leland. I am the founder of Level Up Academy. I built visibility platforms, help you go from unknown to be featured. But today, let's fix that. Okay, so this is turning your story into a strategy. Are you guys ready? This is my sister, Susanna. Good morning, everybody. How are you guys doing? I feel blue today, but it's not my color. Green is my color this year, okay? I don't feel emotionally blue, like I'm super sad. In fact, I have a lot of energy, and sister knows why. Don't worry, I'm not floating yet. I'm gonna bring in my sister. Sister, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. So, what do you think? What do you think? Can you see yourself on that? Like, you have an amazing story yourself, right?
Yeah, and well, it's always hard trying to figure out the best way to put it out there. Again, like what you said, I hear so many people, and I see so many people. They put the story out there. They're vulnerable, and nothing nothing really happens. And what I like is how you look at shifting how you're viewing your story. Don't just look at the story itself. It's like, what did you learn during that time? And so I have a feeling a lot of people who see this is like, you need to take a little bit of time and think about that piece. What did you get out of it? How is it going to help others? Um, and then see what happens. Then see how things can change.
Yeah, most people, most of us, right? And including us, actually. That's is why I know that it happens, because I'm one of those participants that people, I tell people too, like, hey, be authentic, share your story, be vulnerable. I've been running this podcast for almost 4 years and I know my line. Okay. So we do. But here's what happens: we get likes, but not leads. We get
Hmm.
comments, lots of comments, but not clients. We get
Right.
attention, but not authority, right? Applause doesn't pay our bills, literally. So we stop getting an F on likes and comments and followers and all that, because guess what? We need to get paid. How do we get paid? Well, people will tell you, you're so inspiring. Does that pay my bills? Nope. And still never buy from you, by the way. Right? You're like, oh my God, you're so inspiring. You're so this, you're so that. So then the question becomes, what's missing? What's missing? So we're going to have a framework. We're back to framework. Hello, Brother Jay. How are you? I may not be telling my story in a way that grabs the audience. I think that your story does grab the audience. I hear you in the audio rooms on LinkedIn. I know it's been a hot minute since I've listened to you guys, any of you. So don't feel like, excluded. I literally have not been here at all for a while, right? And the reason, because I need to reposition myself. But I found out, okay, from this, because I'm working with a client right now, is the framework is story, your story. You have to have a strategy, and then you can get sales. So experience what happened. Most people actually stay here, right? They're gonna give them like, oh, my trauma. This is what happened to me, and I struggle, and here's my win. Literally, that's what we do with our books. Okay. Your experience is not your value. I know people are like, that's my value. No, your experience is not your value, it's your raw material. How are you using your own experience to help others? How are you letting others visualize that your experience is the same as they're going through right now, but they're on the problem stage? They need a solution, and you should be the solution. So, what does that mean? This is where amateurs pretty much drop off, right? And professionals step in. Ask, what did you learn? Just like Susanna said, what did you learn? Right? What pattern did you break? What do you do now to understand others? Right? What do you now do understand that others don't? What did you understand that other people don't see? I'll tell you what I understand, because I was in the same thing. I tell my story. I have lots of stories. Sheesh. But it has to be a strategy. Authority lives in your interpretation, not in your experience. If perception becomes reality, so if I perceive someone was, wow, she's so authentic, she's so this, she's so that, I want to be like her, blah, 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 but they're not willing to pay you. You know how you're like trying to be a consultant, but no one comes to you? I've met so many entrepreneurs, consultants who are amazing, but no clients, because their authority lives in their interpretation, but not their experience. So, how do we position ourselves? What it means to them, your client? This is where money literally enters the room, right? Who does this help? Ask yourself, my story. This is my story, right? I've lived it. But who does this help? I guarantee you guys, 8 billion people, even 2% of that population, okay, can relate to you. You'll be set for life, right? But ask, what problem does it solve? Now, here's another, it's a little ADHD moment for me, and I will ask sister in a minute, is AI, most people are like, oh my gosh, it's going to replace me. No, it streamlines your time and your process, right? And it's actually addicting to kind of get to know AI a little bit more, to see like its limitations and its capabilities. And I realized that also some of us have hearing issue, not a problem. It's an issue, okay? Reason being is that, and it made me realize when one of my students actually made me question myself, and then I look at again and I'm like, oh, right? Because this is an example, and Susanna knows this because I was talking about something. GPT-0 and 0GPT. It sounds the same. Heck, it spells the same. But one is specifically for academia and one isn't. So that's a good example of an hearing issue problem, right? Because if I tell you that this is pink, but your interpretation is red, and I'm telling you that this is how it can solve your problem, but you're not listening very carefully because you have a hearing issue. What it is that your brain is processing so much information that you need your brain to breathe for a moment. Be present. Be here right now. Stop laundering. Stop watching TV while listening. Just stop for a minute and be present. And I mean it, because you lose so many opportunities within that, 5 seconds, 0 GPT 0 difference. It could mean life or death. It could mean your next $1,000 client per hour. Right? What do you think, sister?
Oh, definitely. It's so easy to get things mixed up, and I can get it with, especially when people don't really understand, like the AI situation, and they remember all the words. It's just you put them in the wrong order, and so you've made that mistake because yeah, you got the right words, but they're not in the same order. You didn't pay attention. And quite frankly, I can see how we're even for both of us talking with our students, trying to get them to pay attention to some of the little details that would. It's like, guys, this will change your grade between getting this and getting that. And I know you want that, but then you got to do these little things that don't seem like a big deal, but they're keeping you away from that. So yeah, keeping the ears open, listening, seeing who listened and who didn't, because once you've laid it out there, you can start seeing who's paying attention and who's not.
Clearly.
I've told students, even with the grading of the papers, I've told students, it's like, I've seen such a huge difference in the papers and in what's happened when people start listening to this. The papers are so much better, the work is better, and the grades are better. Same thing. If you hear, you pay attention to the details, you got a chance of moving to the next level, not getting stuck in the mud.
Or your own looping thoughts. We have those too.
Do we? Yeah.
Yeah, we do. So shift your things, guys. For those of you who have books, Jay, Ollie, you guys have books, right? Instead of saying, here's my story, say, here's how I help you because of it. Here's how I help you because of it, right? Turn your content to offers, guys. This is where you scale through frameworks, through messaging, through programs, the content pillars. I mean, I know it's a lot, right? One step at a time. If your story can't be repeated clearly, then it can't be monetized consistently. Right? So, what's the one thing, sister, you've been through? Just one thing. I know you have a lot.
And well, yeah, and the hard part is actually the thing that jumps to mind is the one thing I probably can't talk about.
Okay, let's not talk about that. One thing you can talk about.
I
Oh,
mean,
we have a lot of people on YouTube. Almost 550. Whoa. Good morning, YouTube. Good evening, YouTube. Sorry, last minute, guys. I'm so glad you're here. What's the one thing you've been through that you want to talk about and can talk about it?
well, it's even just dealing with emotions and the ups and downs, especially over the past couple of years. There's the emotions, and my problem is I see so many different things. I get too many. I can get wrapped up in too many of them. The emotions I've been going through this past year, and just moving beyond the boxes that have been holding me back for all my life, and the different ways that I've been able to move beyond it. Even the emotional roller coaster this past year is actually moving beyond a box that I'd been stuck in for a long time. To let
Okay.
those emotions go up and down, and yeah, it's frustrating. However, and it's like I always catch myself. I don't know. I don't want to say but. I want to say yet. However, something. It's what I want. It's moving beyond something that was actually holding me back in the past, to be able to go through what I've gone through over the past year, over the past 5 years, and basically step into the world and say, I'm done with the past. I'm going forward. Um, that's been my biggest. That's probably been one of the biggest challenges and successes that I've had, is getting to where I'm at now.
Okay. So my second question is, what did it teach you?
You can't do it alone. That's. I mean, I could say I'll probably come up with something else, but that's really, in this case, I can't do it alone. I've had to do a lot of stuff alone, or I felt like I had to do it alone all my life. But for what I've gone through over, especially the past, I'll even take it the past 3 years, like almost exactly 3 years. Um, it can't do it alone. When you have somebody that you can not only share with, but you can open up and not be judged, and you can listen to them and not judge, so that it's a safe space of belonging. That is what made the biggest difference in being able to get through all the stuff I've gone through over these past few years. Having somebody that I can talk to, because I've never felt safe talking to anybody in the past. And I have a feeling there's a lot of people that are that way. It's like you test it out and something happens and it feels like getting slapped in the face, or getting shut out, or you made a mistake, and so you just disappear again. When you find your people, and I got a friend on LinkedIn. She's always, find your people. When you find your people, that's when you're in a place that you can drop the barriers, you can drop the mask, and find out that when you do that, you're also able to relieve some of the pressure that's been building up in yourself. You're not fighting to hold something in. You just have to be careful not to go overboard sometimes, especially at the beginning. Don't do a deluge of information.
Yeah, because you got to test it first if you can trust
You,
them.
exactly. You've got to know if the trust is there. That's
Yeah.
when you're in a space of belonging. You're in a space where you can trust the people.
Yeah.
And
Now, my third question, which is super important, because right there, you have no problem saying, hey, what's one thing I've been through? Okay. That's the problem that we have too with our story. We have so many stories in our lives, but we sometimes always pick the wrong story to share, or it might not be the wrong story, but it's not the strong story enough that will help get you clients, right? Right now, that story that you have, let me ask you the last question. Who does that help?
God, I feel like I'm in marketing class again. Uh,
I'm teaching. I'm teaching.
well, no, actually, I know ADHD moment, but it's right now. My students are supposed to be creating that profile of
Mhm.
who's their target audience.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you're saying right here. It's like, who's the target audience for this? And it's so easy to say everybody because we all want to say, oh, it's everybody and whoever wants to come in and listen kind of deal. But we need to target it. And for me, my focus has always been more towards women and finding that way to find a safe place so that they can move beyond the things that have been holding them back. I've dealt with being held back all my life, whether it's my own fear or whether it's other people that have basically controlled me in various ways. And being able to hit that point where I step beyond that box, I find people that I can trust and open up. It's the same thing. It's I see so many women that's what they run into. It's so hard for them to find somebody to trust because too often sometimes we're our worst enemies with each other.
Yeah. And I'm like, stop that. And you tell me, stop that. Right? We both do it when we correct ourselves. But think about it, guys, okay? Who uses belonging best as a brand? Two things or two brands that I can come up with. The first one is Nike, right? It's identity based. You are an athlete, even if you can't run. Okay.
Mhm.
Apple, you're innovative, you're different, you're creative. They don't sell products, they sell who you become when you use them. So you have to look at the transformation. If you're going to tell your story, right? Obviously, your story is live, it's your life, it's your live life. But what really is the raw material that you can sell is how did you go from point A to point B? It's so easy to say you need help, but not everybody is willing to help you the way you needed help. Because everyone will always tell you, I'm here for you. But when you call them, they're not pick up, right? Or if you say, hey, I'm here for you, and then you told them, and then you're doing video and they roll their eyes, right? All those nuances is there. This is where you sit. Don't follow because it's informative. You want your clients to see themselves in you, in your journey. I want to be part of that world, right? So, one example into positioning that I'm going to give you is you went through burnout. Now you help professionals regain control. You see that tagline a lot on LinkedIn. But then here's the authority that goes back and forth. It's like salt and pepper. Well, if you don't need to be everywhere and you can get clients, well, how do I get there? Most people will use tagline. But what you don't understand on LinkedIn and the world of AI is anyone can search you. So if they see that you have no authority, meaning you haven't really had that much experience, right? Because you're not really sharing on social media because a lot of people don't like social media anyway. How are you going to gain that authority? You tell me, right? Here's another example. You went through the divorce. Now you help women rebuild identity because sometimes women, okay, usually in their 40s, 50s, 60s, our identity is within our family, within our spouse. First thing you say is like, who are you? I'm like, I always say I'm a mom, right? I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm CJ. That's lit. You know, your identity is stuck there because you've been doing it for so long. But if you ask yourself, if you were stuck in an island by yourself, who is CJ? Who is Susanna? How are you going to help people? I've been doing this wrong, guys. Okay. I know. That's why I'm like, okay, let's do this. This is where you lean in. Let me say something that might sting a little bit. Take a deep breath. Your story is not special until it becomes useful. Because everyone has gone through something. Everyone. Like literally 8 billion people. But not everyone knows how to leverage it. Sure, you got a book. Sure, you got a podcast. Sure, you got a movie, a TV, or whatever. But you're not really getting that authority. So, this is my framework of oversharing versus authority. Okay. If you share your emotions, like people always say in your book, like, I don't really feel attached or emotions in your book because you're not structuring it right. Just like a movie, you're so intense, you don't want to leave. You pause it to go to the bathroom because you want to know what happened next and you don't want to miss anything because it's structured. Okay. And then you're oversharing. It's all about you and da 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 da. Think about your possible clients because you want to share part of your story that they can put themselves so that it becomes about them. Oh, yeah, I'm going through a divorce right now. Or, oh, yeah, I'm going through really a hardship right now financially. I can see that. Right? What do you think people buy thousands of dollars because they want to overcome what their problem is? And don't be random, like, oh my God, I'm just randomly going to share this. You can't repeat it. You can't repeat your story. Then you can't make money consistently because you're all over the place. And don't make it temporary. You have to make sure it's scalable, right? Vulnerability, yes, gets you attention, but structure builds income. Okay, so you don't hope they reach out, you lead them. So, sister, what do you think?
It has to be that way. You got to find that way to lead them because everybody loves a story. And let's face it too, how often some people, they're doing this just because they want to get all kinds of these likes and they figure that if everybody shows up, they're going to, then they'll get something. And just because you have 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1,000,000 followers doesn't mean you're going to get anything out of that. The only ones that matter is who really is coming to you for help. And if it's just a story, everybody loves a good story. But what are you doing? And I can sit here and say the same thing as you. Like, what are you doing to show that your story, what you got out of it, is going to move you to the next level? That you're able to show people the why. It's not just here's what happened, but the why. Why are you the person to tell this story? Why are you the person to help them see doors that they were missing to go through? Why are you the person who can help them move from this position where they feel desolate and stuck and they're just looking at all these stories because it's more of a wish to moving to the next level and having people actually reach out and say, can you help me get to this point? And be there willing to do it, ready to go. It's like, yeah, you want to move from point A to point B. Let's see if we can get you to C, D, and E just as well.
And don't say no to me. Don't say no to me.
Well, and it's like I will say it too in terms of imposter syndrome, because we've all dealt with it. And for those who, it's like, oh, it's just it's a true thing. And the thing is, especially with women, if we look back at what we've accomplished to get to where we're at, and we feel like we're an imposter, we're looking at everybody else, and it's like they all seem to have the best life, and we're feeling like we're just barely making it. Can't figure out why we're in this particular job because everybody else looks like they're doing better. But number one, you don't see the truth behind everybody else. Like, that guy's getting a divorce, he just is hiding it. That one is having going through addiction or something and they're hiding it, whatever. But if you really look at what you've done to get to this point, you realize that this isn't where you should be. You should be not even the next step down the road. You should be 2 or 3 steps down the road. It's just you've held yourself back because you didn't feel like you were good enough, that your story was enough, that you've accomplished enough to be there. When you've surpassed it, you should be further than you are.
Yeah. You don't need mass visibility. You need the right people and clear positioning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be able to trust that person that they do have your back. And action is my one word that differentiates people from success and failure, right? Or learnings. Sister Danielle usually says, I didn't lose, I win and I learn. I love that. Um, because you're right, winning and losing is so black and white. So if you want to have to be in the gray area, then you need to make sure that you're learning something, right? And I really think action is the differentiator between success and learning. Because if you have all, like, I know somebody who has great ideas, amazing, 10 years later did nothing because they didn't take an action, right? So just say this to yourself, guys. If you're in that stuck in between, what the heck? What am I going to lose? I'll learn, right? What the heck? Just do it. Just jump into it. And guess what? The worst thing that can happen is it didn't work, but at least you tried. That's all. You tried, right? Now, let me give you this. This is like, I like to have credibility on everything I do with writing and talking points. So I research, it says, according to ConvertKit, creator reports, okay, 68% of creators earn under $1,000 a month. That's from ConvertKit. That's a huge company. But the top earners are not the biggest audiences. They don't have it. They monetize email lists, niche offers, and services, because what they do is they solve a problem. AI is literally there for you to solve a problem. And everybody wants everything customized. Even going to your doctors, you want to be customized, right? AI has been helping with that, taking notes, getting diagnosis, right? So everything is now customized. So think about the one problem that you have that you wish someone would solve. Then look at it in Google Trends, guys, and do the keywords just quickly. And then maybe, just maybe, you'll find a solution in there based on your story in your life, right? Maybe. Now, here's another one. 1,000 True Fans Reality. Concept popularized by Kevin Kelly. If you have 1,000 people paying you $100 per year, okay, per year, that's 100,000 a year. So can we start with a 1,000 people list? Oh my gosh. Yeah. 1,000 people, 100 a year, not a month, a year. You get 100,000. Most people chasing visibility don't even have 100 paying clients. Visibility does matter. You have to be everywhere to get to know you, who you are. But make sure that the behind the scene, you have the foundation to do it already. Because if nobody knows who you are, it doesn't matter how good you are. Nobody knows you, right? So yes, you have to have that authority. But once you already have that, the next step to scale is to structure and position your story to be somebody else's story as a solution to their problem. Okay, revenue is very selective. High income, low audience professionals. So this is from Upwork. You guys know Fiverr is the same competitors as Upwork. Okay, so it says top freelancers and consultants often work with 5 to 15 consistent clients, and they charge between $2,000 to $10,000 per project per month. Think about that. Upwork. Because here's the thing, I could claim this and that and this and that, but if you don't have visibility yet, people are going to try to find you, because social media is the currency of authority nowadays and credibility. So if they don't see you visible and you're actually selling visibility, huh? If you're selling social media marketing, but the only thing you have is your Facebook, really? Do the math. 10 clients, $3,000 a month. That's $30,000 a month, guys. No viral content required, because that might never happen, right? Coaches and consultants actually are quite scaling. That means, according to International Coaching Federation, the average coach income is about 67,800 per year. An experienced coach can make 100K to 250K. Most are not influencers, by the way. They just operate through referrals, networks, speaking gig, free or paid, and private ecosystems, right? Now, your followers, if you want to convert them, ask for their email. HubSpot actually shows that email marketing's ROI is $36 to $42 per $1 spent. So social media conversion rate significantly is lower. Okay? So what does that mean, CJ? Someone with 2,000 email subscribers can outperform someone with 50,000 followers. Why? Because ownership and intent. You don't need more people. You need the right people with the right problem, hearing the right message. Your story, that's an entry point. It's not a business model. Okay? So if your story doesn't solve a problem or lead to an offer, it's just content, not currency. So stop daydreaming about, oh, I'm going to someday make this much money. Well, how are you going to make money if no one believes that you can solve a problem? Your story is nice, it's very authentic, right? What do you think, sister?
We should always be trying to think about how we're going to solve a problem, and unfortunately, most people, I don't think they go that far. It's just, I've got this great story. You should want to work with me because of my story. And the thing is, that's not how it works. And you hit it too. It's like everything I talked about in class yesterday. You're covering in different ways, because the stimuli. How is the marketer getting the stimuli out to the potential customers? Well, this is exactly what you're talking about.
Mhm.
You're putting your story, you're making sure that you put it in a way that people see how you can help them, not just that it's a nice story, but then making sure that you're in all the right places so that the people that matter are the ones who are going to see it. I mean, it's nice if you had all these followers, but again, if you don't have your people, you're not going to make the money, because everybody else is like, they love the story. It was nice, it was funny, it was gave them tears, whatever it was, but that doesn't pay the bills. What pays the bills is working with people and helping them get through whatever it is that they need to get through, that you've shown them. You've done it before, you know how to do it, and you're the right person to help them move from point A to wherever it is they want to go. Get them off of stuck, get them out of the box and moving forward.
Yeah, yeah. And I was actually thinking about this, like, as we talk, right? People don't just buy what you do, they buy where they feel they belong, right? And so why your story isn't attracting opportunities needs to solve a problem. I've been through a lot, but no one is paying attention or paying me. Most people will say that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
to me, I was thinking, man, I have a lot of stories. So I think for me, it's the invisible authority story. Okay, there was a time where I was doing everything right. I had even 2 jobs. I was a mom, I was a wife, I not was, I'm still am, but babies, little babies. Also they, I work corporate and I teach on the weekend. I had my doctorate and I had the experience, the credentials, the stories. I was showing up, sharing, speaking, even helping people a lot. But nothing was translating into real opportunities. No consistent clients, no real visibility, no momentum. And then I remember thinking, how can I have this much value and still feel invisible? Then I realized something that changed everything. I wasn't lacking value, I was lacking positioning. I was telling my story, but I wasn't telling people what to do with it, right? So I stopped saying, here's what I've been through, and start saying, here's what I've been through that can help you. And when I made that shift, people started asking how to work with me, how opportunities started showing up, right? But it's not an overnight thing. You have to build it. You have to show up. You have to be consistent. I know I say that a lot and I haven't been consistent, right? I'm literally being transparent here. I haven't been consistent for since July of last year. It's always almost going to be a year. Someday I'll tell you why. Right now I'm not ready to tell that part of my story yet. It's still unfolding. It's still telling its own thing, right?
Mhm.
This isn't random. It's 4 things. It mirrors your audience, right? That's me. I've been doing all this and I'm still stuck. I'm sure you guys are hearing this, listening to this, you're feeling that, right? I need more exposure. I don't know how to position my value. What kind of exposure? That's why I tell clients, when you do press releases, when you do your book, yes, sure, everyone can post a book and everyone can go on Amazon, but you have to look at the whole package. How are you putting your book out there? Are you positioning it that you're the authority? Why are you writing this book? Ask yourself. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to make money. Good luck. There is no structure in what you're just saying. You have a wish list. Is it possible? Of course. But you're not going to make that much money for the book. You can have books, but if you're not traveling and doing signing everywhere and doing the legwork, yeah, you're not going to sell a lot. Amazon is a big marketplace. That's nice. Because it's a big marketplace, it's a problem because there's a lot of competition, right? Maybe you'll make 30 cents per book, maybe, depending on where you sell it. There's 15 to 17 countries. It's not going to happen for you all the time. And remember that any of those countries, they're not necessarily helping because you're not visible. They don't even know who you are. We have clients that are like so amazing. They're on my podcast, so many books. Their books are pretty looking and it's so professional, and crickets. Not because they don't have value. They just don't have positioning or strategy, right? It's not the experience that they need. That is the problem. So, sister, let me ask you this. What problem does your story actually solve?
How to take the first step. How to finally accept that it's time to change. Understand that you don't have to deal with whatever it is that's been holding you back, and that you can take that first step. And it's going to be difficult. It could be uncomfortable, and it's a breath of fresh air. That doesn't mean it's an easy journey. Yet once you start down that path, the chance of getting into where you really want to be is a whole lot better than staying in a spot that's not for you. It's not safe. It's not right. Wishing to go. It's time to go. Don't let your fear control you. Don't let whoever's holding you back control you. Doesn't
You're
mean it's
actually controlling yourself. You know that, right? Like when that's the thing is that I see that now too, right? That I'm out of certain situations is like it's not necessarily an excuse, but it is, right? We let others live in our head, control our head, and we give them and outsource our own decision making, and then we blame that person when in reality, you can make the move. You can make those changes. The problem is when you're in that situation, you're literally feels like you're handcuffed to a chair. You can't move because you can't see it.
exactly. And I know what that's like. You're in the middle of it. You don't see the truth. You don't see that you can make a change. You can make a difference. You can start to change your own path. We can't go backwards and change the past. And I'm the first one, and you're right behind me on I wouldn't go back and change a dang thing.
Mm-mm.
I love where I'm at now. However, you this is the point where you start to make a change. The present is if it's time for that change, you know you need to change. You know you need to do something. This is the time to do it. Stop looking at the past and wishing. That doesn't mean you have to forget it. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. That doesn't mean that you're going to ignore it. I mean, things that could have happened in the past, you don't forget them. You may need to it may come up as a way that you help others in your own way because of finally getting out of that situation, but you need the help to get to see that there is a path, that
Mhm.
you don't have to stay in this box that your own fear is holding you in, that somebody else, you're letting their words control you because you don't know how else to deal with it. You don't have anybody else that says
No, it's
they're,
not.
they're blowing smoke. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's really when you get into that position of belonging where you have someone and the trust is there and they say it, it kind of helps to remove some of that fog, or as I like to say, it helps to helps to make that translucent web that you're trying to look through, that you can only see a grain of truth that holds you back. Now you're starting to see a little bit better what the truth is. And even though that grain is still scary,
Uh-huh.
truth is you don't have to be there. You can make a difference. You can take the next step and you can find a way to move from the box you've been stuck in to going beyond boxes and letting your life go where it was supposed to go in the first place. You weren't
Yeah.
meant to be
You
stuck.
are. Yeah. You control your own destiny. That is the truth. And for me, my story solves this statement. I have experience, but I don't know how to turn into visibility, authority, or income. That's it. That's the pain point, really, right? I need more confidence. No. I need to share more. Maybe. Those are surface level excuses, guys. Okay. Your story should solve three layered problems, right? Mine does. Okay. The first one is the visibility problem. Why is no one noticing me? I'm an amazing person. I do this and this and this and this. Your story, at least my story, shows that it's not about being louder, although I am loud. I'm Filipino. Hello. But it's about being clear, right? Positioning fixes invisibility. I position myself as an authority on this because I have lived it, I have experienced it, and my whole entire life and every day is literally a test. A test. I'm like, sister, I'm testing, and she goes, "Of course you are." I'm always testing, and if it comes out like not the way I want it, I'm like, "Listen, I was testing." Okay, so yeah, I know that that doesn't work. So let's do it this way. But the monetization problem. Why am I helping people but not getting paid? Because what? Value doesn't mean income, guys. Your value is always your value. You own it. You own your story. Strategy equals income. Okay, that's why most people think, oh, I don't feel valued, blah, blah, blah. No, no, no. It's your strategy. Your experience becomes an offer, literally. Okay, and then the clarity problem, which most people get stuck. I don't know what to say or how to say it, right? Your story shows what to extract. What do you need to do just for that problem, right? If you have if you're hungry, right? Do you go buy shoes or do you want to go buy food? You go buy food because you know that that solves the problem specifically for that. If you need to go to a party and you need an outfit, do you go buy food instead or a car? No, you buy your outfit, right? But that's our problem because everything is here. There's nothing you can think of that hasn't been done and offered or sold, right? But each one of us have our unique value. Your value is not the problem. It's your strategy of how you can offer that value to solve other people's problem. But also the problem is if you don't have credibility or authority. That's where I come in, right? That is where I come in. So if I help people turn their life experiences into a what? A position message that attracts opportunities and income. And Mike is right. Courage before confidence, right? You have to have the courage to leap so that you can create that confidence. Like if I see sister's video before we met until today, you'll see a huge difference for sure. For sure. She's sassy now. CJ number 2 is sassy over here. Jay is saying a strong call to action. It takes a story from your fantasy to practicality. Yeah, but not just a call to action, but also solving the problem, right? Because I think a lot of people are afraid to ask because they hate sales. You're selling yourself every day. What are you talking about? You know? It's like fostering a little bird that fell out of its nest. You have to nurture so it can one day fly. Exactly. That's why I don't do coach. I mentor and I lead them to where they need to be, but they have to be able to be receptive. And so you have to unf that brain, right? Because a lot of us are told what to do and we follow it. But guess what? That's actually not for you. Because you haven't looked at yourself and what you need. You just think you need because your perception becomes reality. Oh, I need this. No, you don't need it. Depends on what your goals are. So if your goal is to make money, how are you going to make money? Look at your current things like tools at home. You need to do something. You got to look at, okay, what tools can I use to fix whatever I need to fix? It's the same thing. What story and what lesson learned that I have in my story that I can help solve one problem? You don't need so many problems. We already have so many problems. Just one problem that can actually earn income for you. Any last minute question or statement, sister?
I think it's a case of everybody just needs to look at their story and look at it differently. I mean, you know your story, you've lived your story, but if you're going to look at how to use it as strategy, you've got to take it beyond the this is what happened and this is what I did to this is what I learned and this is how I can help others to move beyond a similar situation.
I love it. Susanna and I are definitely available for you. But here's the thing. I work with experts, entrepreneurs, teachers, authors who have powerful experiences, guys. But they aren't getting visibility or opportunities that they deserve. Most of them are sharing their story, but it's not translating into money, right? Or income. What I do is to help them turn that experience into more clear position message. And part of that is definitely social media. So you have that authority if your clients look at you, right? And then also your experience, your lived experience. Okay. So Susanna and I will try to be here again on Thursday. This is a great, fruitful conversation, and thank you, YouTube, for being here consistently. Even though I literally did this like almost 2 in the morning, I appreciate you guys. We love you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
started in the silence, behind closed doors. Dreams too loud to keep tucked in the floorboards. Late nights, broke days, no applause in sight. Just coffee, hustling that fire to fight. They said, play small, but I'm built to expand. No silver spoon, just grit in my hand. I will every note like armor and steel. Visibility's a battle, but I'm real and I heal. From invisible threads to the front of the stage, I'm rewriting the script, turning scars into page. Level up, rise above the fear. Let them hear your voice, make your purpose clear. Every step, every stumble, every tear in the rough. You were made for this moment, you are enough. Level up, break through the doubt. Turn the whispers of your past into a victory shout. You ain't just chasing clout, you're building a legacy. Now the world's gonna see what they couldn't believe. Yeah, yeah. What they couldn't believe. See the back end, just a headline glow. But success is built slow, where the struggle don't show. Algorithms change, but your mission's divine. You're the brand, you're the vision, you're the power behind. You gave free just to prove you have value inside. Now it's invoices paid and your name amplified. You're not just in business, you're changing the game. And your visibility, that's more than a name. No more shrinking, this is expansion. No more asking, this is commanding. You've been the spark, now you're the flame. Entrepreneur by fire, fueled by name. Level up, rise above the fear. Let them hear your voice, make your purpose clear. Every step, every stumble, every tear in the rough. You were made for this moment, you are enough. Level up, break through the doubt. Turn the whispers of your past into a victory shout. You ain't just chasing clout, you're building a legacy. Now the world's gonna see what they couldn't believe. What they couldn't believe. To the late nights, the lost friends, the risks you took, to the brand you built and the space you shook. Here's your crown, your moment, your spotlight beam. You didn't just chase the dream, you became the dream. Level up.